Here with another YouTube video, and in case you cannot tell by the title below, this one will be one where I share my thoughts and opinions on someone or something going on in this wacky weird wrestling world. As you can tell by the title below, this one will be one where I share my thoughts and opinions on Melina, either a current WWE Hall of Famer or a future one, probably depending on if she's actually in. I don't think she's in. Again, I could be wrong. This one was requested a little bit ago by I Money Joe here on the YouTube machine. If you have any wrestling related video ideas, it would mean a lot to myself if you let me know. And when it comes to Melina, first time I ever heard about her, I might be wrong about the year, and for that I apologize, but when Eminem made their TV debut, and I want to say it was 2005, it was Mercury Nitro Melina, and I thought, man, the guys can wrestle. The lady can do the splits, which, mind you, I was 11 years old, but it's like, man, I will not even attempt the splits back then, especially nowadays. So relatively impressive kind of deal. And when it comes to her part of Eminem, I this might come out bad, but I remember her screaming quite a bit whenever she was ringside, and it was annoying. There's a difference in between being annoying, being a bad guy, and what Melina was doing. It was to the point where I was like a 11-year-old. I could watch wrestling 24/7 and that would not be enough. That's kind of like the fan I was back then, and it almost made me turn the channel. Then a sibling reminded me that I can just mute it for a bit, which I ended up doing. But yeah, back then in 05-06 time period, she was whatever. I don't remember her wrestling back then. And then from 06-07 time period to 2011-2012, if I remember right, she was primarily a singles wrestler. And don't get me wrong, she can definitely hold her own. I don't know for sure about nowadays or relatively recently. I'm pretty sure she can have a halfway decent match depending on the opponent, but it's one of those things where judging the women's division for WWE in, let's say, 08 in comparison to 2024, soon to be 2025 eyes, when I say it doesn't really hold up, women's wrestling within WWE is a lot better than what it was better part of 20 years ago kind of deal. But back then, again, late 2000s, early 2010s, she can definitely hold her own. I don't remember any one single promo, but again, it's nothing against Melina, but it's one of those things that the women's division weren't really given the same opportunities as nowadays. And I know, or when I say I know, I remember hearing back then, like 09, 2010, 2011, that Melina was relatively hard to deal with. I don't know her. I never met her. I never seen her wrestle in person. But back then, again, late 2000s, early 2010s, and comparing her back then to nowadays is, from everything that I've heard, she's calm, cool, collected nowadays in comparison to back then. So when it comes to Melina, I'm not necessarily the biggest fan, supporter, mark, whatever terminology you would want to use. I am not that towards Melina. She is one of those people that, again, I don't think she's in the Hall of Fame. I don't remember even like a graphic of saying her in the Hall of Fame kind of deal off the top of my head. If she is, I apologize. If she's not, would I watch her go into the Hall of Fame live or catch it on replay? Probably not. Would I want to meet her? Yes and no. If I hear that she's going to be at Hamilton Comic Con or Niagara Falls Comic Con or Ottawa Comic Con kind of deal, would I travel that far to either one just to meet her? Personally, no. But if I'm already going to be at one of those Comic Cons for somebody else and Melina's going to be there, I might meet her, if that makes sense. But when it comes to Melina, she's not one of again, impressive for what she's able to do, kind of deal, given the time, like physically, like impressive for the women's division back in the late 2010s. Is she one of my favorites personally? No. Is she one that I would go out of my way to meet? Again, personally, no, kind of deal. But those are my thoughts and opinions. Would love to know what your thoughts and opinions are on Melina down in the comments below. It would be greatly appreciated by yours truly. Hope you guys are treating yourself as well as possible, mentally, emotionally, physically, and thank you again to I Am Money Joe for the video idea. It means a lot to myself that you did that. And yeah, again, I don't know if I said it, I have a very weird memory. Treat yourself as well as possible, mentally, emotionally, and physically.